Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars, and let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame, then moving on to higher and higher time frames. As always, I will only be covering the unbiased technical analysis and nothing more. And sorry for taking the day off yesterday, but we're going to continue this streak of daily uploads. So first of all, on the 4-hour time frame, we still have this hidden bearish divergence playing out, which is when you have lower highs in the Bitcoin price and higher highs in the RSI momentum indicator. Typically, this points towards us getting a break from all of this bullish price action we saw here recently, and usually this plays out either in the form of some choppy sideways price action or potentially some bearish momentum. So far, we are pretty much seeing some choppy sideways price action playing out. Now, about a week ago or so, we were looking at an ascending triangle like this. This actually got invalidated, but now I have a different version in the charts here because I do want to keep an eye on something like this possibly paying out. The reason why is because if we end up breaking above 71.5k, at that point we are very likely going to come grab a bunch of liquidity up here. So I want to be on the lookout for that and also have an actual price target for you guys if we end up breaking out to the upside. But for now, as you can see on this 6-hour time frame, we are basically trading in between that high and this low at 65k. So anything in between here is literally just Bitcoin chopping sideways. And I can understand that this may be a bit of a boring time in the market, but even in a boring market like this, you can still take advantage of short-term pumps and short-term dumps simply by trading the lower time frames. And these are actually much more controllable than trying to take a look at the daily time frame while we are just chopping sideways and trying to predict if we are going to go up or down from here. That is actually much harder to do than trading the lower time frames during those periods of choppy sideways price action. But taking a look at that daily time frame then, in terms of support and resistance, currently we're still trading inside this big area of resistance sitting from 67.5 all the way up to 70,000. And we have support to the downside sitting from 66 all the way down to 65k. For now, our base case is still playing out with those Bollinger Bands just continuing to contract as Bitcoin is chopping sideways. Let me just show you that on this chart so you don't have a bunch of stuff on the screen. Either way, so we are getting closer and closer every day to these Bollinger Bands squeezing the price here. Our base case having fully played out, and then we get that next phase of big expansion and big volatility for Bitcoin. That will be coming sometime soon, and perhaps even earlier on this 12-hour time frame, because right here you can see that we are already really starting to squeeze the price here. So perhaps as we're heading into this new week of trading, we're going to get some fireworks, especially on the lower time frames. Moving on to the weekly time frame then, the bias here is still bearish for me. In fact, I'm targeting 52k and 45k in the Bitcoin price. Point of invalidation for this bearish posture is if we get candle closes above 87,000, because at that point we would invalidate this bear flag pattern that has already broken out and is well on its way to actually reaching our price target. So for now, I continue to expect the Bitcoin price to eventually reach those targets, although we might get some bounces along the way. And of course, we're going to try to catch those potential momentum shifts on the lower time frames as well. Moving on to the Bitcoin ETF flow tables. Yesterday I didn't upload a video, so let me just quickly update you guys here. We did get a net inflow of about $90 million in a single day of trading. So now that we are about to head into a new week of trading, I'm going to keep a close eye on this and update you guys every single day, of course. Moving on to the Bitcoin liquidity analysis then. Notice how right here we do have massive liquidity to the downside on the 3-day time frame, sitting at 66.8k, and we have a bunch of liquidity at 69,000. So this is all pretty normal and to be expected when we have just been chopping sideways. Typically you have liquidity piling up on both sides, which is also the case right now. On the 2-week time frame, we also have the exact same situation, 69k roughly and about 66.8k as well. For now, in the immediate short term, you can see that this is still in a downtrend at the moment. So as long as you don't see a break of that descending line of resistance, we are just slowly trending down towards that 66.8k level. Apart from that, I also wanted to zoom out to the 6-month time frame here because yeah, there is a bunch of liquidity to the upside. I think we can get a better picture of this on perhaps the 1-month time frame. Yeah, so here you go. For example, 73k, 85k even. As far as I'm concerned, it only starts to make sense to target that liquidity to the upside after we see a proper breakout above 71.5k, with this wick high being a short-term area of resistance at 72.3k after that. But if we're going to see a proper breakout, then likely we are also breaking through that area. So either way, this has been today's market update. Make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of these important update videos. But regardless, if you do end up doing that or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow. in the next one.